Cheap dopamine destroys masculinity. I've given up porn, alcohol, and drugs. I'm Sebastien, your addiction recovery coach. And if you want to know how cheap dopamine destroys masculinity, stay till the end. When I was 19, I went to a meditation center. I stayed in this meditation center 3 months, meditating 12 plus hours a day. And when I came out of this meditation center, I gave up alcohol and drug easily and organically and automatically, because meditation helps strengthen your prefrontal cortex and increase the gray matter in your brain. And the prefrontal cortex is in charge of making decisions, is in charge of regulating the compulsive behaviors you have. That is why it was so easy for me to give up alcohol and drug. Porn is another story. Porn took me another decade to give up altogether. But after I turned 30, I decided to give up porn forever. And it took me years from then on to give up porn. But after a while, with a lot of meditation, with a lot of perseverance, I gave up porn and I'll never look back. And of course, I want this for all of you. You have to understand that even though I've given up porn, I've given up alcohol, cheap dopamine is not limited to all those three things. Cheap dopamine comes in form of video games as well, as food, as Netflix, as phone scrolling, so on and forth. We live in a society where we have access to a lot of cheap dopamine. But unfortunately, as I said, cheap dopamine does destroy masculinity, healthy masculinity. You have to understand that masculinity has a lot of great qualities like assertiveness, leadership, and self-control. So when you are addicted, you have all those compulsions. You cannot have those masculine traits. You are weaker in your masculinity. You become an addicted lover. For those of you who have read King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, you have to understand you give in consistently to those compulsions, whatever they are. You become an addicted lover. You become the shadow side of the lover. Therefore, you weaken your masculine. You weaken that archetype we all have as men, the lover side, which is a healthy side when done properly. But if you give in to all those compulsions and those addictions, whatever they are, you become, as I said, an addicted lover. So you are not a whole person. You have not integrated that side of you. And that is very important. I have to be honest. I think a lot of this masculinity crisis comes from giving in to those compulsions and not having a purpose. Steven Pressfield, the author of The Wall of Art, explained in his books that those people who do not have a purpose, a mission, a calling in life will often fall prey to becoming that addicted lover, to give in to compulsions and behavior. The more important thing is to understand that cheap dopamine destroys your masculinity. But in order for you, and that's a bonus that I'm giving you from this video, is to find your purpose. Even not having a purpose and trying to find it is already good in and of itself. Because once you have the intention, the true intention to finding your purpose, you will find it. And once you can be a more masculine man and integrate things like meditation, for example, and heavy lifting, if you do those two things that are very beneficial for your mind and body, finding your purpose will be easily. And you might find your purpose in one of these two or both of them, like I did. But if you just lift weights, you have more discipline. If you just meditate, you'll have more mental clarity. And finding your purpose, your mission, your true authentic self will become easier over time. And it can come rather quickly. But you have to integrate those two tools that will help you find your purpose, find out what you are, or answer the call to adventure for those of you who know about the hero's journey. If oftentimes we as men refuse the call to adventure and continuously refuse to take the call to adventure. The call to adventure is one of the steps of the hero's journey. You generally refuse a couple of times, but a lot of us men are refusing all of the time. We're refusing to take the call of action. We keep on refusing, but this call to adventure will not leave you. That's how you develop stress anxiety, depression. And that's how you can fall prey to all those distractions and those compulsions. So listen to your intuition, meditate, lift weights, find your purpose. And when you find your purpose, you can get to this more authentic, masculine, spiritual self. And that is what I want for all of you guys. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Sebastien, your addiction recovery coach, and I'm here to help those of you to desexualize their mind, give up porn, and other addictive compulsions and behavior. Links in the description box below.